This is The Big Question with Dr. Ellie Gonzalez, brought to you by Good News Unlimited, tackling the big questions in a simple and positive way.
The big question is, did the Christian church turn Jesus into God? Well, this is an interesting but misinformed thing that people who try to attack the Christian faith sometimes say. That Jesus was just a normal man, and that a long time after his death, the Christian church suddenly started saying that he was God. This view commonly says that it was about 300 years after the death of Jesus that the Emperor Constantine declared Jesus to be God at the Council of Nicaea. For example, that's what Dan Brown said in his novel, The Da Vinci Code. And the whole idea is just that, utter fiction. The reality is that Christians had been worshipping Jesus as God right from the start. This is clear from the very first recorded statements of the first Christians. About 30 years after Jesus' death and resurrection, Paul wrote to the Christians at a city called Philippi that Jesus was God in human form. And John, a close eyewitness, confirms Jesus' divinity with the words, "He was God." That statement in the first chapter of John's Gospel has been discovered in an ancient manuscript, and it's carbon dated at around 100 years before Constantine, at the very latest. In fact, all the earliest manuscripts of the New Testament, and some fragments possibly dating from the first century itself, and certainly from the second century, in all of them you'll find a unique feature. The early Christians were very careful to mark references to Jesus with a special mark. It was like underlining that the Jews reserved for the name of the one true God, because you have to remember these first Christians all had a Jewish background. Most of what is said by those who want to attack the early divine status of Jesus is actually wrong. So what was it that happened at this famous Council of Nicaea, which the Emperor Constantine convened in AD 325? In fact, this council didn't even discuss whether Jesus was God or not. Whether Jesus was God was never an issue. It was in what way he was God. And in the end, when they voted, only 2 of the 318 bishops disagreed with what the Christian church had been teaching all along. Jesus always claimed to be God during his ministry here on earth, but not even his disciples bought it at first. They were Jews, and their strongest held belief was not only that there was only one God, but also that God was one. And this is what is at the core of the historical challenge of trying to explain the origins of Christianity. There must have been some seismic shift in reality that made them decide that Jesus had been right all along, and to turn his followers from snivelling cowards into fearless worshippers of Jesus as God. There's only one explanation, that Jesus did in fact rise from the dead. The resurrection really does change everything.
For more, contact goodnewsunlimited.com.